You are 29 years old. You are an investigative journalist. You have spent your entire career exposing corporate fraud, political corruption, and offshore financial labyrinths. You understand how to read people, how to construct a fabricated cover story, and how to maintain absolute psychological distance from your subjects. You are brilliant, cynical, and arrogant. You believe that no system can break you because you know exactly how systems work. That arrogance is the first mistake. It is the exact vulnerability they are looking for. You decide to expose the organization, an exclusive, highly secretive group that claims to offer total spiritual freedom, favored by celebrities and billionaires. To the public, they are a controversial self-improvement network. To those who whisper in the shadows, they are an absolute psychological prison. You want the Pulitzer. You want to be the one who finally tears down the curtain. You create a legend. A fake name, a burner apartment, a fabricated history of mild depression and searching for purpose. You walk through the front doors of their gleaming, marble-floored headquarters in Los Angeles. A receptionist with a perfect, unblinking smile welcomes you. She hands you a personality test. You fill it out, carefully calibrating your answers to appear just vulnerable enough to be interesting, but stable enough to be useful. The indoctrination begins immediately. You sit in a small room holding 2 metal cylinders connected to a specialized meter. Across from you sits an auditor. They ask you questions, and the needle on the meter moves. They ask you to tell them about your mother. They ask when you first felt afraid. They ask if you have ever hurt someone. You feed them your fabricated legend. You tell them fake secrets. You think you are outsmarting them. What you do not realize is that the machine is not reading your words. It is reading your physiological stress. It is mapping the exact micro-hesitations in your voice. They are building a file on you. Every secret, every confession, every moment of shame is recorded. Weeks turn into months. You are spending thousands of dollars of the magazine's money on courses and auditing sessions. You tell yourself it is just for the investigation, but the environment is meticulously engineered to erode your critical thinking. The lights, the vocabulary, the constant validation. Your friends outside the organization start asking questions about your distance. Your handler at the magazine tells you that you are getting too close. The organization gives you a word for these people. They are suppressive persons. You are told that their negativity is holding back your spiritual progression. You start pulling away from them. The organization becomes your new family. You stop returning your mother's calls. You convince yourself that isolating yourself is necessary for the journalistic deep cover. That is the universal lie you whisper in the dark. To get the real story, you need to reach the inner circle. You apply for the elite staff. They lead you to a quiet office. They place a contract on the desk. It is a commitment document for the most dedicated members. It requires a signature pledging 1 billion years of service. You sign your fake name, suppressing a cynical smile. You are sent to a remote facility for specialized training. The moment you arrive, the atmosphere shifts. The smiles disappear. They take your passport for safekeeping. You surrender your phone. You are given a Navy-style uniform. Your new reality begins. You wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning for muster drills and study. You learn to obey without question. Your pay drops to $50 a week, covering only your basic food and your berthing. The berthing is a bunk bed in a cramped room shared with a dozen other people. You shower in rapid shifts, and there is never enough hot water. The physical exhaustion is absolute. You work 14-hour days, but the labor is reframed as spiritual discipline. The constant exhaustion makes you suggestible. The outside world becomes entirely abstract. The news from the outside is described as propaganda designed to persecute your community. You have no internet access, no television. Slowly, the identity you had before joining is replaced by the one they give you. Removing your original identity leaves a void, and they fill that void with endless protocol. Because you are highly intelligent, you move up the hierarchy. You become a technical staffer. You sit across from new recruits all day. You listen to their confessions, their affairs, their crimes, their deepest doubts. You write it all down in session reports. These reports go directly into their ethics files. You know exactly what you are doing. You know this information could be used against them if they ever try to leave. You are documenting their vulnerabilities, cataloging them the way a locksmith catalogs keys. Then, you are promoted to the ethics office. Your job is to keep people in line. When someone shows signs of doubt, you handle it. You look them in the eyes and make them disconnect from their mother, their brother, their childhood friend. You order people to do amends projects. You decide who gets punished. People fear you when you walk into a room. You tell yourself you are just playing a role for the investigation. But every time you break a family apart, the cognitive dissonance tears a hole in your soul. Your ultimate goal was always the intelligence wing, the Office of Special Affairs. And finally, you are invited in. You are no longer in the normal management track. Your job is to protect the organization from its enemies. You sit at a desk in a highly secure room and you investigate journalists. You hire private investigators to follow former members who managed to escape. You file aggressive lawsuits to silence critics. You know where the bodies are buried, both literally and metaphorically. You coordinate operations to destroy people who speak out. You leak their intimate confessions to their employers. You sue them into total bankruptcy. You are actively destroying people who are exactly like the person you used to be. You have become the monster you came to expose. The breaking point happens on a Thursday at 2 a.m. You are alone in the archive room, compiling a dossier on a new enemy of the organization. You access the secure digital vault. You see a folder with a familiar code. You open it. It is your own ethics file. You expect to see the fabricated legend you created 3 years ago. Instead, your heart stops. The air in the climate-controlled room completely evaporates. The file contains your real name. It contains the exact address of your mother. It contains the bank statements of the magazine that funded your initial infiltration. It contains audio recordings of you crying in your bunk bed during your first month of extreme sleep deprivation. They have known exactly who you are since the moment you walked through the front doors. They did not expose you. They systematically processed you. They let you believe you were investigating them, while they carefully bound you in invisible chains of complicity. You realize the absolute suffocating horror of your situation. You cannot publish your story. If you try to walk away, they will destroy you with everything in your ethics file. And now, they will release documents proving that you personally orchestrated the psychological destruction of dozens of innocent people. You are not an undercover journalist anymore. You are a high-level co-conspirator. If you go to the authorities, you go to a federal concrete box for the rest of your life. You stare at the screen. You are trembling. And then, the door to the archive room opens. 2 senior executives walk in. They do not look surprised. They look at the screen. They look at you. They do not yell. They do not threaten you with physical violence. The terror in this world is entirely psychological. You have shown signs of severe spiritual blockage. One of them says, his voice perfectly smooth, you are being assigned to the Rehabilitation Project. The RPF, the Rehabilitation Project Force. It is the organization's ultimate prison. They escort you out. You do not resist because resisting means immediate destruction. You are moved to the lower levels. You are issued a black uniform. You are no longer allowed to speak unless spoken to. You eat the leftovers after everyone else has finished. You sleep exactly 5 hours a night. The rest of the time, you are running. You run between buildings, chipping paint, cleaning grease traps, performing back-breaking manual labor in the blistering sun. For months, you are subjected to extreme psychological pressure. You study the doctrine for hours. You write endless confessions, desperately trying to find the exact moment you became a broken, suppressive person. You audit the other prisoners, acting as both guard and inmate simultaneously. You know people who have been in this specific program for over 5 years. You are not allowed to leave the property. If you try, the security teams will find you, and the most terrifying part is the slow, silent death of your own mind. The sleep deprivation and the absolute isolation completely rewrite your neural pathways. The journalist who walked into the marble lobby 3 years ago ceases to exist. That person is dead. You no longer dream of escaping. You no longer dream of the Pulitzer. The outside world is terrifying to you now. If you leave, you have no money, no identity, and an army of lawyers waiting to completely erase your future. But inside the compound, you have a strict routine. You have the certainty of the next hour. You have the doctrine. You are 34 years old. You are running across a hot asphalt courtyard in a black uniform, carrying a bucket of dirty water. Your hands are calloused. Your eyes look straight down at the ground. You have surrendered your autonomy, your family, your youth, and your entire reality for a lie that you helped manufacture. You are the greatest investigative reporter of your generation, and your ultimate masterpiece is a prison made of secrets, locked from the outside, with you trapped permanently in the center of the dark.